So how do you balance and manage tariffs so the average person is not affected by it? Please.
But before I do that, so let me just say already tariffs, because to me, I think it's the most beautiful word in the dictionary. More beautiful than love, more beautiful than any word I know, tariff.
I've said it again and again on this show because it is so incredibly true that VP Harris is willing to go on the Fox propaganda outlet, willing to go into the lion den to defend her record, to talk about her policy, because she has a real vision for the future. But Donald Trump is too scared to do any interview in which he is not having his hand held or is being lobed softball questions by a podcast host. But even then, even when Donald Trump is sitting down for the easiest and most cozy interview possible, he still finds a way to mess it up because he and his mouth are his own worst enemies. Donald Trump can't help but say something that will backfire on him in the worst possible way. And that is exactly what happened when he went on Patrick Bet-David's podcast today. And as he always does, found a way to screw himself and really kind of disturbed PBD with what he was saying. Shockingly enough, and we are going to get into that. But before we do, if I could quickly ask you to leave a like on this video and hit that subscribe button, really goes a long way. And we just passed 50,000 subscribers. So I want to thank you for your support. It really means a lot. Now let's get into this first clip of Donald Trump and some weird statements he made.
But there's also an element of who are going to be my allies, who are going to be my enemies. Did you sit there and say, the enemy of the people is media, I'm going to go after them? Or did you say, no, this happened accidentally? Was this intentional or was it accidental?
I think it's just long-term happened. It morphed into it. I don't think they said...
I'm talking specifically for you, though.
Yeah. For me, look, I'm the worst case because there's nobody been abused like I have. And I don't think, although I guess... probably some, but for a shorter period of time. There's nobody for over such a long...
Who would you put? You haven't thought about it. Who do you think?
I'd have to think short-term people have been abused. Yeah, over one deal and they're gone or something.
I got it.
But I've been doing this for a long time. Right. And I abuse them also. So, I do that.
But did you target them and say, I'm going to go attack media and I'm going to go after them? Is that part of strategy that you had? Or no, that was just,
no,
if you come after me, I'm going to come after you?
No, I think it's a natural instinct with me, like it would be for you and other people that know how to win a little bit.
Sure.
No, but
as much as Fox and the other Trump stooges want to play cover for Donald Trump, he is saying what he believes every single day, and that's that he wants to rule with an iron fist. He wants to be a dictator on day one, and he wants to attack his political opponents, whether that's Democrats, whether that's journalists, whether that's just you and me, people who oppose him. Donald Trump is after his opponents, and he wants to do so with violence. He said it's his instinct to do so. He looks up to strong men. He wants to be one because he is so insecure and angry. That's why we continue to see him lash out, not just fear-mongering against immigrants, but talking about violence all the time. And these strange attacks on VP Harris as well. And we see one of those racist attacks right here.
Really like me. And I think black women do too. But they have a woman who is black, although you would say she's Indian, but she is black. But she really, a lot of people didn't know, which is true. But
I learned about it just a couple months ago. Maybe, the fact
that she's black or that she's Indian.
The fact that she's black, I thought she was Indian until a couple months ago. Things changed. I mean,
a lot of people. Well,
because if you follow baseball, Sammy Sosa kind of, you sometimes have to respect people. They change, right? So I thought maybe she was doing a Sammy Sosa the other way.
Yeah, Sammy's changed,
right?
People change.
If you remember Sammy Sosa,
he could hit the ball.
He could hit the ball, 66 home runs. Yes.
Donald Trump is still clearly very triggered from VP Harris' appearance on Fox yesterday. We saw early this morning him typing away all angrily on Truth Social. And now he is back to one of the most embarrassing and really worst attacks she has made on VP Harris. Just so gross to attack her race and say that she isn't black or that people didn't know that. or that she doesn't know. I don't even know why he is continuing to go back to this. Donald Trump just continues to dig the hole. His campaign is in even deeper with these weird things that he's saying. It's why they continue to cancel interviews, because they know whatever he says, it's bound to backfire. And we saw some more of that in a comment that Donald Trump made about President Zelensky in Ukraine. Right here.
People say that. A lot of people say this will be our last election. You know, you've heard that too.
I listen for
It's so bad what they're doing to our country on the borders. It's so bad what they're doing with the money, the billions and billions of dollars. I think Zelensky is one of the greatest salesmen I've ever seen. Every time he comes in, we give him $100 billion. Who else got that kind of money in history? There's never been.
Mm.
And that doesn't mean I don't want to help him, because I feel very badly for those people. But he should never have let that war start. That war's a loser.
One of the saddest and most disgraceful moments of Donald Trump's political career, and there are lots of them, but towards the top, I think, was that meeting with President Zelensky just a few short weeks ago, in which he was openly praising Putin in front of him. And now he's blaming President Zelensky for the war on the brutal invasion by Russia, on the mass killing of innocent Ukrainians by the disgusting dictator that is Vladimir Putin, really. And this is the guy who wants to be commander-in-chief. This is the America first. This is the protect our country. It's selling it over to Putin, giving him whatever he wants in Ukraine, not defending our allies. It's just gross to see. And especially because Donald Trump continued this attack when he decided to levy the accusation against President Biden that he as well was responsible for the war in Ukraine. It was disgusting. Let's take a look.
There's no city. You go into the city and every building is demolished. It looks like a demolition crew went through. They've been hit by missiles. This should have been settled before it started. It would have been so easy. If we had a president with half a brain, it would have been easy to settle. And I'm not, everyone would say, oh, this is terrible. He's blaming Biden. Well, I do largely blame Biden. If you watch his words were the exact opposite of what he should have been saying. Mm-hmm. He instigated that war.
Trump really will go anywhere and do anything to defend Putin. And we have to continue to come back to this one truth about Trump in this race, that he isn't running for president for the fake reasons he pretends to make America great again, for tariffs or building a wall. No, he doesn't believe any of that. Why Donald Trump is in this race is for three main reasons. First is that he wants to avoid prison. The second is he wants big tax cuts for him and his rich friends. And the third is he wants to serve Putin because he's clearly got some dirt on him, or he just looks up to him. He looks up to strong men. He loves them. He is so easily won over by praise because he's an insecure little child. And so the fact that he would continue to attack not only President Biden at this point, we expect it. It's gross, but we expect it. But President Zelensky as well, in pushing these Kremlin talking points on behalf of Putin. It's just gross. This is why more than anyone we see national security officials from the Trump administration coming out against Donald Trump, saying that he's not just a threat domestically. We know that we've seen him fail at the national level, but no, at the global level as well. Donald Trump continues to be a danger because he wants to sell out our allies and he wants to do anything he can to help Vladimir Putin. And he's doing it as just an incoherent and degrading person. He's falling apart. We can clearly see that right here.
So how do you balance and manage tariffs so the average person is not affected by it? Please.
But before I do that, so let me just say already tariffs, because to me, I think it's the most beautiful word in the dictionary. More beautiful than love, more beautiful than any word I know, tariff.
Reason why Donald Trump wants to talk about three main things all the time. The first being immigration, one, because no one ever pushes back on his plans of mass deportation, which aren't just immoral, would be devastating to the economy. It's why he also likes to talk about energy, because he can just say, drill, baby, drill. and we're going to cut your prices in half without actually explaining the economic impact. Donald Trump's energy plan, which was a worse energy plan than the energy independence brought to us by Vice President Harris and President Biden. And it's also why Donald Trump loves to talk about tariffs, because no one pushes back on him. And he doesn't have to explain. All he says is, oh, we're going to do 200% or 2,000%. The companies are going to listen to me because I make great deals, and there's no explanation except for the explanation from independent economists who have said Donald Trump is bad for business, that he would add $7 trillion more dollars to the debt, that his plans would be horrible in comparison to the opportunity economy that VP Harris wants to build. This is a guy who is losing his mind, but of course he doesn't really view it that way because he said this.
But I do get credit for having, having been an originator of the term. I mean, a lot of times I have a very fertile mind. I come up with very good names for people.
You're very creative.
Pocahontas,
Yes.
lots of good names.
We need to center this in the danger of a dare Donald Trump, because always, as we always talk about with Project 2025, it's not just the dangerous agenda that Donald Trump was, it is the dangerous people that he will surround himself with, and it is the dangerous people who would abuse Donald Trump. And as we talked about earlier, one of those people would be Vladimir Putin, who wants to use Donald Trump as his puppet. And that's why this ad from the Lionel Project is so important.
When Donald Trump was president the first time, the Russians wanted him to win.
He called him colorful, talented. He said Donald Trump is the absolute leader of the U.S. presidential race.
They helped him. He won.
Господина Трампа избрал американский народ. Можно спорить, но нельзя проявлять неуважение.
He never forgot it.
He welcomed his
I
support.
like that he said that.
Over and over, Trump put Putin and Russia over American interests.
The problem is not that Putin is smart. The real problem is that our leaders are dumb.
He wants Putin to win in Ukraine.
I said, this is genius.
Told him Russia can do what it wants in attacking our NATO allies.
I would encourage them to do whatever the hell they want.
He doesn't have a good relationship with Putin. He owes Putin. Trump's not just on the other side, he's on the take.
We cannot deal with the liability of Donald Trump. We saw that for 4 years. And we're not going back. And we're going to keep talking about that every single day on the show. And if you want to support that, as always, you can hit that subscribe button. You can leave a like on this video. And if you stuck around at the end, you can drop a blue heart in the comments. And until next time, I'll see you soon.